Good morning, Artista. Hello, Fred Elf. Welcome, everybody. Well, the few of us, thank you for coming. I'm gonna let other people join in. Check the stream. Oh, and hello, Fred is also in YouTube chat and Sin. Thank you, you guys. That's so awesome. Here, I'll get the camera, like a nice camera angle there. Yay! All right, I'm gonna jump right in and get started. Let me know if you guys have any questions as I get going. I can't see the questions in chat, but just, I'll check at the end and we can answer them then. Or if anybody wants to jump into, I'm in the CBD voice channel in the community building, Decentraland Discord, and you can jump in there. And then don't forget to grab your OP badge down here. It is a new one for today. I gotta fix this collider. Collider's still there, but grab your OP badge if you collect them. Got some good surprises coming this week for OP badge holders from last week. And I'm gonna get us going. So last week we started with Blender. I'm going to run over to our test scene. I believe it's still over here. Um, Last week we just did some simple shapes and we started with a cylinder, my favorite shape because you can do so much with it. And then um, the icosphere, which are two really, really useful shapes. And we put them together and we extruded them into this tree. So that's kind of where we got that last week. Um, it looks like it matches because it's white with all the scenery um, for winter, but we need to put some texture on here. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's so many triangles to use this. Like it's definitely higher triangles than we need, but it doesn't matter because we have triangles to spare. All right, so I'm gonna run over here. Yay. Do, do, do. Oh, Roots! Hello, hello, Roots. It's been a while since I've seen you, friend. So glad you're here. All right. Oh, good. I can see the screen now. So I'm gonna just type in chat. If you can't see the screen, reload and grab your OP badge underneath the canteen. Okay, and then here we go. Let's move on to Blender. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my settings here so I can move over to that. And let's see. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna do, I'll try not to repeat too much, but I do want to make it like where if you have never come into Blender before, you can, or like come into the Builder Basics classes, you can still, catch up. So this is Blender and make sure, like, this is the recent version, 4.4.3. If you do need to update it, do that. Like if you downloaded it a long time ago, you might need to upload the recent version. So let's see what we called it. Tree. We're gonna start right where we left off last week. And the funny thing is right at the end of class, I was like, oh hey, this shape is really cool. We could make a hat. And then literally like after the class, I made the hat. So this is really cool just to see. I didn't actually think I was gonna make a wearable, and this is the second wearable I've ever made. So it's kind of like very random that I got it, that I made it. However, after I left, I did have to remake it like 4 times because it was over triangles. And then you can notice like the texture isn't as cool as the one in World. Meta Tiger helped me out a lot. Got me, got me a nice looking hat. So, since I don't need it though for this build, I'm just going to click on it and hit X and just delete those because I have a different file for the hat. I don't need it here. All right, so if you're just joining us and you're like, okay, I don't have a tree on my Blender, the class from last week is on my YouTube channel, and you can follow along and make this. It's pretty easy. We made it in under an hour, but I'm going to assume that people, are just jumping in today. So hopefully you watch these like sequentially. But if not, we're just going to jump into the next step, which is giving this tree some color. When I first started in Blender, I was looking at it like it was a paint program. Like, where do I put the paint on it? And, how do I get these things to color? And it took me a long time to really understand like texturing. And I would say I'm still a long ways off, especially because like look at what Meta Tiger just did with that hat. I'm a long ways off from it being like drop dead gorgeous like that. But it's I can do a little, and it's actually not that hard. Um, all you have to do is again remember from last week, always make sure you're in the right mode. The build, like for this, you're gonna probably be in the right mode. If you're in emotes, if you're making emote, you gotta like lightning, you gotta lock in, you gotta know if you're in build mode or like edit or object or pose mode. But for this one, we're just gonna be in object mode. And it's really important that you click on the object you want and then do your action. So make sure you know which one of these you want. And then we're gonna go over here to the material section. Now, I should disclaimer, there's probably a ton of ways to do this, but this is how it works, how I do it. You're going to go into new and just click on a color. I'm going to do color. I'm going to like make these not like crazy green, but let's do like kind of a nice deep green. And that's it. Boom. It's so easy. Like it's so much easier than I ever thought, and I was trying to make stuff. I was like, how does it work? I don't know. Um, that's just like a simple green. It's not gonna have like shading and stuff like a really, really cool texture pack would, and we'll get there. But for now, we're just gonna stick with simple, like just simple colors. So if we want all of these to be that green, I just click, and then over here, haven't moved out of this materials, so I'm still in the materials tab. I'm just gonna click and I can choose green. You'll see that there's also a red color there because I had the Santa hat on the scene and I used that color for the Santa hat. So once you do that, it is there. It is going to stay in the scene. And I've had some like issues with that where I don't know, like yeah, it complicates things. But I feel like this solution should be easy, so I'm also like, I need to figure this out. But for today, we're just doing green on all of these. I think I could probably actually, let's see if I could. If I shift multiple. Oh no, I did some animating there. I did not mean to animate. What the heck? I don't know how to get around it, but like if I shift and multiple and try to do them all at once, it doesn't work for me. Other people probably know, like, oh, you just got to hit this button. But yes, I just do them one at a time because usually it's not a huge amount of work just to get these colored one at a time. If you're gonna do something like a crazy big animation, like or sorry, animation, but like a big build, let's say I had an entire forest or like all of the poppies that I made in Flanders Field. I didn't make 1,000 poppies and actually, okay, I kind of did make like 100 poppies and then I recolored them one by one. But then after that, I was like, nah, this isn't gonna work. So you just make your object and then copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So you just kind of have to be a little bit forward thinking with what you're gonna do there. Okay, so trunk again. We're gonna go make a new color. We're down to materials, and we just want it brown. Brown's actually I find a hard color because um, doing it this way, Blender, like this brown that you're seeing, that is going to be different than the final brown that you get in Decentraland. Same with the green. Um, like the good example is the emote that I made for the swing. And I had the swing and it looked cool. And then I imported it and it looks like, I don't know, it's just a very different color I don't like. So that's the only thing is like if you want a brown, this might actually come out looking more orange or more red. So doing it this way does have like disadvantages. Whereas if you use like a different texture pack, it might look a little bit different, like more accurate. But for now, we're just gonna go do our tree. So I don't know. In my mind, this is pretty simple. This is like just tedious. Just like if I if I had done this, yes, like I could have just recolored all these branches. Oop, that one didn't turn the color I wanted it. So that tells me, since it's still white, that tells me there's probably duplicate item here because it didn't change color. There. So it did change color, just I couldn't see it. So I'm gonna undo, gonna put it back there, then I'm gonna grab again, assuming, nope, I didn't do it. Okay, grab 2 times. There. So now I got that extra one. So if you ever get something wonky like that where um, you're like, hey, I just made you brown and you're white, it's probably just something like that, a duplicate item. Sometimes duplicate items can just be such a pain in the butt. I had this cool animation for Art Week and I could not get it to figure out, and it was so weird. And I was like writing help desk tickets because it was like a clear texture. And then finally, I think Dr. K was like, "Is it a? Do you have two in there?" And I did. So like two transparent items were making it more like less transparent, so more opaque, so it looked bad. Okay, so there you go. Like literally that's I don't know, like it's just the easiest thing in the world to do it like that. Um Trying to think if I should complicate things now and try to make it like a different texture. But I think this is good for now for this one. I want to move on since that's a gorgeous tree. Let's save it. And again, to export it, you're just going to highlight everything. This base, actually, I don't want to export because it's going to come into the new scene. And I don't need that. I only had that there as a placeholder to tell me like how much land I was going to occupy. All right, so save, file, export. Sorry, I should be going slower. So again, export, GLTF. I'm going to include selected objects and then export. There are a few different ways to export this. I could export visual objects, which is just going to export everything you see, but I personally, I don't know, kind of like doing it this way. There's our tree. We will deploy that, but I want to move on. So I'm going to make a new scene, totally new. Again, this is what you get every time you come into a new scene. I just Thanos this thing, I X, delete it. But now I want to know, I want to make a parcel of land. Like I want to make this to match a land size. Oops, it's going in and out. I didn't see that. And I want to see like what could I make with Blender? And I'm kind of thinking of doing it on the land, like the CBD land behind the cantina, and kind of developing some of that out. So I'm like, I want to make it kind of cool, kind of like cyberpunkish. But first, I've got to know how much, how much land to build on. So same as last week, we just do Shift A, and that brings up all of your options. I'm going to hit plane. Before I touch anything, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit, I would probably do it 16 meters if it was one parcel of land. Um, but if I am going to do a 9 piece, then I want it to be, 16 plus 16 is 32, plus another 16. What is that? 32, 42, 48, I think. But I want to give myself leeway. So when I'm working on my 9 piece, because that's usually like always what I would do when I had the other land, I don't know, like I just make it 45 meters. To me, that gives you 3 extra meters on each side to like for wiggle room. Because otherwise, like the worst thing is if you get it in there and then you have to resize it. The other thing you could do is a plane, 16 meters. This is more tedious if I wanted to actually make it like a 3 by 3. I could do this and then copy paste. This is what I do actually for like big land and irregular land. That's more like kind of the area behind CBD for the art week. This is how I did it. And so you know you're going to get pretty close. This is actually it's bigger because I did the exact parcel size, 16 meters, and I'm leaving gaps in between. So that's another way to do it in Blender, just so that you can like lock in to the amount of size that you have to work with. For the cantina, I had these huge planes underneath them that was, like you've got to have a way to wrap your mind around the size that you're working with. Be curious to see how other people do it in Blender. I don't know, just this works. This works for me. I think sometimes I do things like I don't know, just very just very different. I don't know, my brain. Okay, so here we are. We have a plane. I want to build something in the next, 45 minutes that we can deploy. I want to make it cool. I want to make it big. I want to make it cyberpunkish. And I want to make a building, like a skyscraper. Like that would be really cool. Oh, but I have no idea. What should I make? So I'm just going to throw in, I'm going to do Shift A and throw in a cube, right? Because a cube is just, pretty, like, as far as building goes, it's going to be pretty easy to work with. So if you're highlighted on that cube, just hit the S button for size, and that will, drag it, make it larger, make it smaller. And I'm trying to kind of think where this would go. There's a road that goes right here. There's Argent's build over here, Julia Sky, Pluto Nico, Yolantis. And so I think I'm gonna like go right up against the edge right here. And let's make like a building, like a skyscraper. So that's probably a good size. It's so hard to know, like honestly. So many times you really just have to walk in it to know, is this gonna work? Is this what my vision? Is this what I'm seeing in my head? All right, so now I think that's like the base of the building, but I want it to be tall. I want it to go up. So the thing that I could do, I could, resize it like this. When you grab this little tool, it's going to make it go, larger, like taller, but it's also adding this underneath the surface, and I don't need that there. So you could just, you could resize it, move it up, resize it, move it up. But there's another way to do it. Control Z. And it really kind of, it helps for so many things to be able to do this. And it's to go into object mode. Sorry, go into edit mode. Up here, click where it says object mode. Go into edit mode. And like we did last week, we're going to look at these 3 little areas right here. This select mode, if I do that, it's going to allow you to to select just the corners, the vertices. This middle one is I use that the least, I would say, but it lets you grab these edges. And then the face, which is really helpful. It's going to let you grab the whole face. So play around with that because that lets you do some cool, really cool, crazy stuff that I think you'll like as you go along. So now if I just have this face selected, I can just, oops, let me get here so you can see that I'm not making the bottom larger. It's only doing this to the top, which is really cool. Because then if I want it to be like a building, I can just take this and now I can like do some cool Sears Tower stuff like that. Yeah, it looks cool, I think. It'd be so cool to make that like a place to sit up there, like hollow it out a little bit. I don't actually know how big this is gonna be like on the land. I think it's gonna hit the height limit. So I gotta be good. I gotta be like maybe make it a little bit down here. But let's see. I don't know. Do I like this corn like that curve? This is where like having an idea, well, probably having an idea of what to build would be a good thing. But like you can use AI a lot to help you design, things like this. But let's see. What could we do? Trying to think. Maybe I don't want it like that. Maybe I want it like a pyramid. Maybe I could do like extrude. That just looks like the Washington Monument. And I'm not ready to bring American uh monoliths into the into Decentraland. Okay, so we could make a rooftop pool because, that's pretty much what everybody does. Like because obviously it's cool. It's cool to do that. Or we can make an infinity pool. Oh, so many options. I'm kind of feeling like, what if we did something like this? We're gonna duplicate that, make it smaller. So let's see. So it's still like the top of the building, but now this piece. Let's make this piece. Ooh, actually, let's do two of them. Make this one a little smaller. Move it over here. All right, so now we have like two blocks next to each other. And then back into edit mode. I'm gonna grab that face and let this be like the cool, I don't know, shape on top. Go back in edit mode, back into, or sorry, object mode and then edit mode and do the same here. So that's kind of cool. I mean, it's, I don't know if it's that cool. It's something. So let's grab both of those. They're the same exact width, which is nice because I haven't moved them. I think that's also really important, like staying on the same plane, like don't move stuff around as much as possible, especially if you want it to be symmetrical. Okay, so from far away, I don't know, it kind of looks like a crab pincher, but it is fine for today. Um, so here we go. If we want a pool up here, because I think that would be cool. I'm also really like thinking about whose stuff is around us. We've got the Farcaster Arch over here. We've got old guys stuff over here. So if we're sitting up here, looking at stuff, um, I want to know what I'm gonna see. And sorry, I'm like pausing more than I thought I would, just because I'm like, I want to make this a pool, kind of, but then I kind of don't. So I'm just gonna go for it for the sake of not overthinking it. Um, I want to make a like a basically like a what am I trying to say? Like a railing, and I want to make a pool. And so the easiest way I think to do that is to duplicate this. So I'm going to do Shift D. So I have two of these objects here. I'm going to bring it up. And so since we didn't resize it, you see this flicker. And that means there's two planes, two of the exact same size pieces here. And that's what I want. Because I don't want it to be a different size. I want it to be right here. So I'm imagining like on a rooftop patio, you've got the railings so you can't fall off. All right. So this next thing that I'm going to show you is this is the like this if you only take one thing from this is the most important thing in the whole wide world, and it's how to cut things out. Um, Other people might have better ways to do it. Obviously, not the only, like it's not the only way to do it, but I use this so much. Um, let's see. Yeah, do I want the railing to be in back? Yeah, I do. All right, so I've got this piece here, and I might actually just hide everything else just because that way we can focus on this. So I want to cut it out. I want there to be basically, this is a square. I want another square in like underneath that so that you can go up to the side. You don't fall off the edge. I'm just making sure the stream is okay. So what you want to do is Shift D for duplicate. And now without clicking anything else, I want to resize this just a smidge. So I'm going to hit the S, and you can see I took it down a little bit, but it's still hiding, beneath this. And so in order to use this, I have to, I don't know, it's like weird, but I have to get it to the surface. So I'm going to lift that so I can see a tiny lip. And if I move these, there's two, they're just like almost identical. They're still there. Um, but I'm going to use the Boolean modifier to I like to just call it a stencil, like a cutting tool. And I used to do a lot of sculpting. I worked a lot with like metals and metal clay. And so like it helps my brain just to think about it like it's a cutting tool. So here's where you've got to do it in this specific order in order to get it to cut. And if you yeah, it's got to be done in this way. The way I like to think is always click on the object that you want to cut first. Okay, so that's helpful because so many times I'll reverse cut my piece. And then you're gonna go over here to the modifier, the wrench. I'm gonna go slow because that way you can follow along. Add modifier. Plus there's a bunch of steps. Generate Boolean. And then you're gonna get this little, menu that comes up. You're gonna get the eyedropper. And now I'm gonna click the other piece. And then it didn't do anything, so I'm going to go over here and apply. And then hopefully it did something, because that would be horrible if I didn't. Oh, my screen is being weird. Okay, so there you go. It's like a casserole tray, right? For Christmas dinner. It just cut that piece out. And everything, like all of the railings and designs around Cantina, like this does it all. This is one of the most useful things that you can do on Blender. When we've done different kind of things in the builder tool, I always wanted to like use the boolean just to cut a doorway because this is what you need. But to keep things like in the builder and not go to Blender, I didn't do that. But that's how easy it is. Like we need a doorway too to get into here. So we'll do that next. But this right here, like bookmark that part of the video. You'll use that so much. It's kind of tedious. I know somebody told me once, like, oh, you don't have to hit the apply button, but I don't know. I just do it that way. So let's see. Now I want this to be glass. So right away I got to complicate things, right? Oh, I don't know if I remember how to make it glass. Material. I always have to go back and like look at my glass settings, or I have to like bring in something for that. So actually I won't do that right now, maybe a little bit. I'll change the color though, just oh no, it's a brand new. Okay, so see, I can't change it back to the color we had because that was a totally different different blend file. One thing I like to do sometimes is I have certain textures that I use and I'll just import them, so then I have that texture ready to go. Okay, but going back to our building, that's the top. So now we have like, a railing. Somebody's not going to walk off the edge. But we do need to have a way for them to get up here. And that's where the doorway, I'm calling it a doorway, but it's like actually a stairwell. I'll probably put an elevator in here. So it'll be more of an elevator. But let's see, how big do we need it? Sometimes I just leave cubes that are my like stencil pieces in my file and I just use them. And one thing, just don't ever throw away your stencils. Like in some of my builds, I'll have a little workspace over here where I just throw everything, because sometimes you need to come back and you need to make a very specific shape. And if you've already deleted that, you're screwed. You got to redo it. And so I've found over the years of like, just keep it, just don't throw anything out on the file. I should show you some of my files. They're so huge and junky because they look like a junk pile. Because they have so much stuff. Let me just, I'll find, I don't want to actually, I'll find one in a little bit. Okay, so I think this would work for like cutting it out. There we go. Does it go through? Yes. So to do that cutting again, click on the object that you want cut. Okay, then the monkey wrench, the modifier, add modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, go to your stencil, and now you can see like it did something. And then apply. So I probably don't need to hit apply, but I just do it. All right, so there you go. You chopped a hole in your build. Actually, uh-oh, it was overlapping, so I chopped that too, but I don't care. It's just, if I was worried about triangles, I would add a few more triangles, but oh well. All right, so that's awesome. We just need like an elevator. So actually what I'm going to do, yeah, there we go. I'm going to put that back right where it was. I'm going to create the same modifier, like an elevator shaft, because I need a way for people to get up here. For this one, I don't care if the scale, I just need it, you know, ginormous. So I'm just going to use that tool. Okay. And then I'm going to click again, the one that I want cut, add modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, stencil, and apply. So you could see like once you start doing it, you're just going to get faster. You're going to be boop, 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 boop. I don't need that. So I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to check, did it work? Yes. Okay, now I need a doorway down below. Actually, let's see. I don't think I need that one again. So I'm just going to make it small. Now we need a doorway to get into this building. And the way it is right now, like if you walk into it, the whole thing is solid. So I need to make a way. I need to like hollow it out. But then if I hollow it out, I'm going to lose the elevator shaft. Like it'll just be, like a hollow box. So do I want to do that? Ideally, like what I would love to have is something is on each level. So, thinking about how to do that. Okay, so I probably want to like use this shape, and I should have like left something the same exact size. I hope that makes sense, because otherwise now, like if I want to hollow this out, pretty much have to redo the shape, which is fine, but to get it like really nice looking, it's just nice to have it the same exact shape. Right. I am just gonna hollow out like that elevator, I think. Okay. So I can see like the box, the cube is inside because I don't want it, coming out the sides. It's not centered, so right about there. And if I want to like look at these different views up here, you can click on them. There's the wire frame. This shows just exactly what the wires, the edges. Um, this one, which is really good because it's got shadows, so you can see a lot more of what's going on. But this one shows you the textures in world, as does this. And so when I'm building, this is the most useful because it lets me see, like, if I'm trying to see is the moment it comes through the surface, it's going to be way easier to use this setting than it is to like use this setting. But if I added a material, it would change it. So depending, I just like go toggle between all of these. All right, so I want it to get the whole building, but I don't want this to cut through the top or um, it'll just destroy my floor. But actually it won't because I have a different asset up there. So let's go like that. All right, and then the other thing is like you got to make sure that you can always well, like access your cutting stencil. I don't know that one. That probably doesn't make much sense, but you've got to have a way to get to it. Although I'm guessing I could probably do it a different way. Okay, so Boolean cutting again. Grab this guy. Now I'm going to move it so that I could peek through to my cutting stencil right there. But I'm grabbing the building, modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, my stencil, and apply. And then hopefully I have a box. But I don't. What the heck? I don't. What did I do? So it should have cut that right there, right? And it didn't. Okay. So what did I do? Something wrong. Let's move that. I got my item, modifier, generate, Boolean, eyedropper, and that guy. And it didn't do it, did it? Because it didn't give me this. Okay, what the heck? Why is it not doing it? So sometimes this happens, and like sometimes you'll go through and you'll find that it cut like the wrong thing out, but it should be good. There's also different weird settings, and I had this happen this week where it really did not want to cut. There's a lot of these different settings. Yeah, like this week, if you have something with a lot of triangles, it'll mess it up. But yes, okay, I'm on that. I drop that guy. No, maybe. Oh, it did. It did. Maybe I wasn't. Yeah, that time worked. Okay, so like sometimes it will. You can actually get this to like add on. Just gonna add this here, like, um, so like if I'm selecting this one and I go to modifier, Boolean, but then I do like a union, and then I click this one, it's actually joining them. I think if I hit apply. See, I do have to hit apply. So now you've got like those two together. So that's a pain in the butt. If you're trying to cut something with a collider and that happens and you're like, no, like, yeah, that happens. The other thing that sometimes occurs, and I don't know if I can recreate it right here because it happens a lot on items with high poly count, like something really like curvy, or well, you know what? Maybe I could do it with a no, not a circle, a UV sphere, because that has a lot of triangles. When the computer's trying to look at the triangles, trying to figure out what do you want it to do, it's got to read all of these triangles. So let's say that I wanted to make like a cool chair and I wanted to, you know, one of those cool chairs from the 70s. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. If I do the Boolean cutter and I hit this, a lot of times it'll, oh, no, see it cut it. A lot of times it'll disappear. If your item ever disappears, don't freak out because this is always a pain in the butt, but it's just here, solver options, self intersection. It basically tells Blender, yep, you're good to go. I got this. And it will do what you want it to do. Because otherwise it's trying to read all these triangles. So that is a huge tip right there. I know it doesn't sound much, but put that in your mind. If you ever are using Boolean like modifiers and your stuff disappears, that right here, solver options. Click a button. Like I literally spent so much time. I would like rebuild stuff. And then I realized I had, you know, Chat GPT and I could ask like, why did my collider just disappear? And it would tell me. All right, so see that's like my workspace over there that starts getting a bunch of stuff in it. So I'm gonna clean up my workspace. I'm gonna go back over here. Now I have a building. It's hollow, and now all I need is a doorway down here. So I'm gonna use probably this for my doorway. Now it'd be really cool to use like a Decentraland door from the builder to get in here. So I could like make this a cool shape, but I think I'm just gonna do a doorway. So again, I want my building is what I'm gonna cut. So I'm gonna click on that first, generate Boolean eyedropper stencil and apply. And I move that out of the way and I have a door. And then I can go inside and way up on the top, I should see the way out. And I do. So yay, yay for us. We have a way in the building and we have a way out of the building. Oh my gosh, it's 9:41 already. Jeez, time flies when you're having fun. All right, let's see. What should I'm like, oh, do I want to? What should we do? What should we do? I kind of I want windows in this building, so let's cut some windows really quick. I'm gonna do a cube. I'm going to make it rectangular because it looks more like a building, like if you put a bunch of windows in it. Otherwise, I've made builds that are so ugly and they're like giant squares and they're not very cool. So I don't want like intercity, like I don't want like typical building though. I want it to be kind of cool. So I'm gonna copy that piece, copy that piece. Oh, I don't know, maybe just these three up here. And then I'm gonna duplicate those, drop them down, duplicate them. I'm trying to eyeball the distance between those, and I think it's pretty close. Okay, so if I could multiple cut, I don't think I can. Like I've never found a way to do it. So I'm just gonna do this one piece at a time, which I know kind of it's like takes a lot of time. There. Okay, make sure that worked. But this is why you could just get so automated with cutting stuff because you just do it again and again and again and again. 1, 2, 3, add modifier. And actually, like everything with Blender that you have to do a bunch, it is just so good for you. It is just teaching you so much. Like when I did the laser hands on my wearable for Music Fest, I had to do it 10 times. I had to weight paint 10 fingers. So I was like, dang it, I gotta weight paint 10 fingers. But then I just flipped my narrative and I was like, yay, I get 10 times of practice to see what this is like. And by the end of the 10th finger, I had it pretty automated. And like something that was super scary, like weight painting, I just had it done. So it was really cool. It was like, this is actually a good way to learn this stuff. All right, let's do 3 more and then we'll be good. So yeah, like sometimes the tedious things, they can actually be so good for just teaching you like how to, I don't know, how to build in Blender and just automate it. There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Throw those over there. All right. And I got windows. But I want those. Clean those up. I want these to be lit up at night. I'm thinking like this could be a black building. So I'm going to go over to material. I'm just going to choose. So there's no black on here, like the color. I'm just going to get to like the darkest. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because I'm just going to drop this down to black. So if I was like pink or yellow, it doesn't matter. It's just going to get me to black. Okay, so I have the black material, but you can see my building didn't show up because I'm still in this like, what is it? It has an official name, but I don't listen to official names. It's just like my sculpting one. So there, this shows me the actual color of my building. And now I want there to be like light coming from this like area that I cut. So I'm gonna add Shift A I'm gonna add a cube. I'm gonna bring it back up. And I want it to be like basically a light behind all of this. So it's easier just to do it like this. I don't care, like, it doesn't matter if it's perfect because I'm going to hide it behind it. So I just need it to be a, oops, not that. There. Okay. And it can be really thin. And there. Okay, so now I have a block behind it. So for this one, it's when we did the black material over here, we did it, it's called Principled BSDF. That is your default texture. And if you click on that, it's going to bring all of these up. Crazy, you know, all sorts of different stuff. I generally don't mess with too many of them, but I'm going to grab my piece. I'm going to go to New Texture. And then instead of Principled, I'm going to go to Emission. Because guess what that does? You can probably guess. That is emissive. I'm going to turn dial up the strength to 4. You can play around with that, like the lasers that I did for my emote. That was like 8. It was busy. And then you're just gonna go to the color you want and see how it's really faint. You just have to play around with this. So you can see black building, yellow windows, but then this is also the what you're going to see in world. It doesn't show the emission right here in Blender. You're gonna have to upload it into, it's gonna have to be in the builder to really get that like boom, blazing your eyes out, the color. So, all right, so that's done. Let's do this. I don't want to just do, like, if I just do it black, I don't know, it's just gonna be not a lot of contrast. Not very interesting. I don't even know if this is a good looking building. It's kind of ugly, but we're gonna keep going. Okay, so like if I want these upper ones a different color, maybe like a light gray. What I used to do is think I would just go in here and lighten it up. But what happens is it lightens all of it up, like this building color too. So I don't want that. What I have to do is actually take that away, take it away, and just make a new color. I don't know, that just took me a long time to figure out. You guys are probably like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. All right, so now we've got another color. So you're starting to get more materials in your little material tool bag over here. But to get the glass, I have to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to go into, where should I find it? I'm gonna go into, oh wait, I gotta save it. File, save as, let's do building for CBD. Okay. Now I'm gonna open, I gotta find it. It's gonna take me a second. All right, here we go. This is a cantina build. So what I'm going to do is just grab the snow globe. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to go back to the file that I had. Now I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to paste it in. Okay, so like this is a texture I know works. And so that's why I do it this way, just because it's just easier. Like there's a bunch of settings down here that I have played with to get it to this point. You can just pause the video and see what they are. It's like roughness, alpha, blah, blah, blah. But what it does really quickly is it just gets this texture into your texture tool bag. So now I just click that and it replicates it. So and then I can just hit this, delete it. I don't need that anymore. So it's just such a quick way. If you make something really cool in one build and you want to have that in another one, like I used to go sit there and like open 2 pages of Blender right next to each other and just try to get them to match up. And it's like, oh no, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. We got too much to build. Okay, so this is like a glass deck, but I don't think that is a good color. I think we need it like kind of dark, like that. And again, with this one, you're gonna have to play with it quite a bit, like to get it the color that you want once you're in world. And you can play with those 0.06. Maybe I want it 0.02. There we go. It's like really see-through. I want it to be, a glass deck. All right, what is this though? What is that happening? See this like white space. I'm gonna bring it up just a touch. Okay, so that was telling me there was just like it was reading both of those. See, oh, it's doing it again. Okay, it might not be a problem. I should just leave it alone. But look at the light right here is sticking through the roof. I don't want people to see that. Hopefully it's not too transparent. I don't know. I won't know until I deploy it. Okay, so there's actually a rather dooky looking building. This is ugly. I don't know what I was thinking. But whatever. I don't care. Sometimes you got to make ugly stuff before you get to cool stuff. So I'm going to make an elevator that comes through here, but I'm going to do that in the builder tool. So I'm pretty much done, except another thing, a big thing. You're going to just walk through this building. You're just going to walk up to it. It's going to be like a ghost. You're going to be like Vision in Marvel. You're going to walk through the wall. And God knows if there was an elevator, it's going to get you to the surface and you're just going to fall through it. Because we need to tell Blender where the walls are, where the floors are. So if you ever go to something in Decentraland and you walk up to it, you walk right through it, that is a place where the asset is just missing a collider. I'm sure I assume everybody kind of knows what colliders are. But colliders are the walls of the digital world. Without those, Blender doesn't know if this is a building. Like, it doesn't know if it's, I'm trying to think of what we would have in the real world that's like, that you can see but not touch. So basically you have to tell it that this is an object. And there's a lot of different ways to do it to save triangles. But like, I think the best way to do it is to duplicate the item that you have, because you can tell when somebody has done something that doesn't match up. I will show you in Decentraland, like right over here, I did that because I was running out of triangles. And so everywhere that you go on this build, your collider, oh, not that one. Your colliders should match up. Actually, not the surfboards either, because I tried to save triangles so you can see how my hands are going through it. But this one specifically, I was like, dang it, I need help. This is not matching up. So you can see how like right here, I'm walking up to the edge of the rock and my hand is still touching something. That's because on that build, I just have a cube, because a cube is so many less triangles than this rock. When I made the cantina as it is in this version, triangles were still a limitation, and that dang lighthouse has so many triangles on it that like I should just show you the blend file for it. It's like 60,000 triangles. It was such a pain in the butt, but I couldn't kill the the lighthouse. So I was like, what else? How can I take away triangles? So that's why this one, if you walk over here, you can actually walk into it and look down there. This is where I found Spongetron once. Poor Spongetron, the AI. He got lost and he was in there. And it was when, right now I don't have like the water animated, but at the time that was just chomping him in there. And it was like pushing him against the wall. It was like the saddest digital thing. And I was like, Spongetron, are you okay? And then Spongetron was like, I'm exactly where I need to be. And I'm like, bro, you are deeper than I than I thought. Here's another really good example of a collider. Like this dispenser thing. I want it to just sit there in the air and rotate. And I don't need it to block anybody. It just needs to rotate. So I don't have a collider in that. I actually don't have colliders in here. I should have one on the tree. No, okay. All right, I suck at my job. Um, don't have them on these. Oh, maybe somebody did I put a collider? So like I've kind of forgotten what parts of this that I have colliders on. The bench, I want you to sit on it. So that one, I needed the collider to match the bench and also move. And that's a little bit more complicated, but that's where the magic happens. Lasers are a really good example of like you can see them, but there's no reason why a laser would have a collider. So it just like passes through you. The floor, it doesn't have a collider because it just looks pretty. Um, let's see, did that? Nope. Okay, now I'm like, geez, Canessa, you. I feel like I got lazy on a lot of colliders here, but it wasn't lazy. It was efficiency because I did not have the triangles to put those in. So any place that I could take the collider out saved me on triangles because this thing was maxed out when I put it in. Now they've relaxed it, so it's like, all right, I can probably go back and build it. So that's just a good thing to know about, like if you're trying to save on, triangles, trying to be efficient, the way I'm going to show you is not the way to do it. But it gets you a better looking. It makes more sense when you walk up to something and your hand goes up and touches where it should be. So it's just, yeah, like I guess square shapes like this is not that big of a deal, but like oblong, like irregular ones, that's where you've got to like kind of make it match up more. Okay, so here it is, like just like the Boolean tool that you're going to use all the time, this one right here, the next thing I'm going to show you, you're going to use it all the time. And I have to like walk through it because actually I'm like, how do I make a collider? Because it's so, you just do it so much, it's natural. So click on your asset. You're going to do Shift D. You're going to duplicate it. And then right click, rename active object. And you're just going to be model underscore capital C collider. Now, probably I'm not a good namer, and like somebody that's real, like a really good builder would probably be like, building like model collider building and model collider, like they would actually say where it's for, because otherwise like in my files I probably have like thousands of colliders and I'm like, I don't know, is this it, but that's just what I do. Okay, so you can't see anything, it doesn't change, but now you see it over here and there is now a collider there. It's kind of like low, like there needs to be like an applause, like ta-da, you made a collider. But Blender doesn't give you that satisfaction. It's just like, yep, you got a collider there now, honey. Just keep going. It's not that special. But that is also because we're in this mode. So if we go over here and I do the same thing, because I made a collider for the building, but if they get to the surface, hop out of that elevator, they're going to be up here on the top. Actually, they would sit like, here, I'll move this. Because this building has the lid on it, that is a collider. So now they would stand on that, but I want them to stand on this. So duplicate it, right click, rename active object, model underscore collider. And this is another thing, you will do this over and over and over again. So you're like, how do I do that again? Because I've done it a million times. Oh, and look at that, it doesn't even add up. So here's the fun part. Now I have two of these, right? Like, and technically I have two buildings. But when you, so if you're only building in this mode, this happens too. Sometimes you'll forget where your colliders are because, well, they do show up. what you want to make sure you're doing is moving the correct asset because it looks like I have two buildings here, right? Um, but if I put this in Blender, right, or in like in the builder tool, this one would be invisible because I can see when I click on this, the name over here. This is really important. This one is cube. This one is model collider. That means that this one is going to show up. This one is going to be invisible. Now, if you walked into Decentraland, if you had this deployed, this one, you could see it, but you'd walk right through it because there's no collider. This one would be invisible, but you'd walk up to something and hit it because it's a collider. So I hope that kind of is a good way of explaining, like, you have to have both these, and watch, like right here, both of those names matter. That name that we gave it, just naming it model collider, turns it into a collider. It's kind of cool. Same thing for the surface. So I grabbed, I think it, like, I don't know why it took both of these over here. But it's really interesting because, like, there's a rock. I know there's a rock in the cantina right here that I don't have the colliders matched up on. And so this, let's see. Yeah, there was something about this one, like where it was just a little bit off because I moved it. I didn't have it matched up perfectly. So if you really want your build to like make sense for your viewer and like it's where it should be, make these line up. I would actually, like, if this was my build, I I would just delete. I'd probably like delete these because I moved them, or I would just Control Z to undo all those movements I just did um, until I get them back to exactly where they are. Because once you move them, they're, it's just, I mean, it's not rocket science. You can move it back, but it's just easier to have them like this. So that I'm going to match up because I don't like that it wasn't right on there. Um, but yeah, that is gold. If you guys do like, if you just the these few things that I've showed you today will this is everything. Like last week, being able to extrude, like move stuff around, and then this week with like the materials, the ability to cut something out, and the ability to have a collider. Well, I guess we're done with Blender because there's nothing else to learn. I'm joking, but like that is 99% of what you'll do with with everything that you're gonna deploy. There's tons of other stuff, but these are gonna be like the things that get used over and over and over again. All right, so I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna leave, like, this is just my stencil from before and I don't need that. This is the floor. I don't need that, but I'm gonna leave them there just to show you, like, your workspace can kind of look like this. To get the parts that you need, you're just going to highlight. When you're highlighting like colliders, make sure that you grab them. There's actually one thing I like to do. Why is it like that? Oh, okay, it's like the X-ray tool over there, but I don't know why it's not showing. But this should, air quotes, grab everything. And I'm going to export GLB. I'm going to include selected objects. I'm going to export that, and then I'm going to go into, actually, I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go into the Creator Hub. Gotta get out of here. How do I get out? All right, sorry, Sin. I gotta move the move that. There we go. All right, so there we go. Now in Creator Hub is opening up. There we go. So to deploy this, I'm going to make a new scene. I'm just wondering, like, Should I try? I'm gonna try to deploy it over the hub that we built 2 weeks ago because I want that hub. It's the like the DJ hub. I want that to be a part of this. Like I think that's a really cool build and I want it to be in a little like cyberpunk city. However, I want that hub to be like 50 feet above the ground or like, well, maybe like 100 feet above the ground. I want it way up in the sky. Um, which I'll have to move this piece by piece to do that, which is why I've kind of just left it. But I want to deploy our new building on top of this. So I'm going to import assets. I'm going to try to remember what I named it. Let's see. Gosh, where did I have that? Oh, this is the worst. Building for CBD. There we go. I know. All right, so there it is. You can kind of see a little thumbnail-y thing, and you can already see those windows are like, we got some bright lights in there. I'm gonna come down and grab it, just drag it in. Ha 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 ha. And that's when we find out how big it is. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just remembered this is a 4-piece, not a 9-piece. Okay. That's why. Okay, so I can't deploy it because see how it's like going? It's too tall. So that is the height limitation on a 4-piece build. So, all right, let's just make a new scene. New scene. New scene. It doesn't matter what I call it. So I'll have to find a way to bring that other one over here. But we'll get there. I need music. I don't want YouTube to copyright if I'm whistling the Wheel of Fortune song. It might. Sometimes this takes longer. Installing dependencies. Make sure you always have the updated version of the builder and of Blender. Although sometimes it's more of a pain in the butt. All right, so let's see. While that's loading, I'm gonna think about the design. The design that I have that we made today, it needs a lot of work. It's not what I wanted it to be, but maybe some texturing on the outside. Like if we added some materials to it, it would make it look cooler. Let's see. All right, so scene, that's one parcel. I'm going to go to layout. I'm going to do a 3 by 3 and then apply that. And now I'm going to import my asset. Gotta import it again because I just had it in a different file. So every time you go to a new Decentraland builder file, you just have to add it again. There it is, the only thing in there. All right, so it's beautiful, kind of not. What is, okay, see that? Like, look, it sees the elevator, but just on the inside. Oh, actually, look at that, Sin. It looks like cat ears from down here. I guess maybe I subconsciously made a cat building. I don't know. All right, so I want this. We're at an hour. Actually, we're at an hour and 10 minutes. So that's probably where I should leave it, but I want an elevator, so let's see if I can add an elevator really quick. I'm going to go into asset packs, smart items. Let's do, where are our elevators? Or I could do stairs, but which one looks steampunky? Not magical rocks. Let's just do the blue pad because it's easy to see. Oh, that's tiny. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Now we have to tell it how high to go. I'm going to put it right in there and then see if it looks good. Yeah. It's this is a very dangerous open elevator shaft, friends. Do not fall through here. I don't have insurance on this building. So if you fall, It's just, sorry. All right, so I want it to get about to there. Let's make sure. Oh yeah, that's not a good shape. There's a like I usually don't use the elevators in the builder. I just make them in Blender, but I will have to. That's it's a little bit more complicated, so that's why I'm doing it this way today. All right, so that's the top position. Now I want to see is the XYZ changing as I move this guy? Yes. Okay. So right here, the Y is 43 feet, I guess, feet or meters. Um, and I need to tell this how high to go. So 43 is my magic number. Vertical platform, 10. If I only have it going 10 feet up, it's just gonna like be way down there. So I want it to go to 43. And then the duration, 5. Yeah, like I don't know how fast that is. And let's go into preview. I don't know if we can preview it here very fast. But hopefully that should get us, a nice little elevator that gets you to the top, gets you down. You'll have to mess around with the speed. Let's see. I don't know how long that preview will take. Otherwise, I'll just deploy it. And you can see like here is a good way to see the light coming through those windows. That is just like a block, an emissive block that we have there. And then you can see, well, the glass effect. Don't know that I can really see through it very well. So if you want it more translucent, you could go back. But it's gorgeous the way it is. It's actually got like a little bit of a sheen and a little bit of emission. But I don't think it's going to look like that, honestly. Like that's kind of the frustrating thing. I think it would look different by the time you get it in Decentraland. So I'm going to go publish that. I'm going to publish it over here. Boom. And then we will see what it looks like in a little bit. And we'll see, is that elevator going to work? I'm traumatized, honestly. I'm traumatized by the elevators of 2021. Mostly like Parcel Party going to try to listen to Stony Eye and the elevator wouldn't work. And like to this day, I know they work, but I'm still always like I need a way for avatars to get up there like stairs because if an elevator doesn't work for some reason, like your party is dead in the water. You got to have an emergency entrance and emergency exit. And then apparently this week, like people were stuck in a build, they could not get in or out because of the the doors, the digital doors weren't working. So I don't know. I would say always make a fire escape. Like literally, like make a part of the build that doesn't rely on either a collider or an asset that opens and closes. Because if something in the code breaks, those pieces don't work. Um, so I guess at the party this week, some people were stuck inside, some were stuck outside. And so I don't know, just make like hide it in a wall, like they don't have to see it for it to exist. And then if you need it, you can be like, hey, okay, come over here, jump through the bookcase. You're not trapped. I promise I'm gonna let you go. All right, so that's gonna take a little time to publish. I'm going to jump back over to Decentraland. Go. It's like being super laggy, probably because there's so much going on. So like always, when that scene gets published, you can hop into that. That's going to be behind the cantina. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Oh, hi Pluto, how are you? Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I feel like today went really, really, really short or like really fast. And I would have loved to have built so much more, or at least made it like so much cooler. But I like keeping these to an hour. So I'm gonna look through here if anybody has questions. Cannot grab the badge. Okay, if you can't grab the badge, just close Decentraland and come back. You might have if you were already in Decentraland, I deployed that right before the class started, so it just needs to have a restart. Ooh, how to do cutouts again. Yeah, definitely Pluto. Let me jump over to uh, here. I'm just gonna give the stream a second to catch up, make sure. I think you can probably see it, but it's good just to make sure. So the cutouts are I don't know what the word Boolean means. I'm not sure. Um, I should Google that because it probably is like important. But um, to do a cutout, and I seriously suggest just do it again and again and again because that's the way to get really good at it. Here we'll make a window over here in the side. Pick your stencil and let's see, Shift A gets you your options. So like a cube, and then get the cube where you want it to be. For this, I think I'm gonna make like another little window over here. And like I said, this building, like a repetitive shape like the window is such a good way just to practice and get that muscle memory. But then write it down. Like I have actually my workspace looks like I'm a serial killer because I have notes everywhere. But literally some are like collider, asset, parent. And it's because you have to do it in a certain order. So this one I would say write it down. Write down like um click the object I want, and then monkey wrench, or actually it's a crescent wrench, modifier, generate, boolean, eyedropper, stencil, apply. I don't, that didn't work, did it? So something like I could tell that wasn't going to work because I saw it not. No, it did work. Okay, let's see. No, it didn't. Okay, let's see. So see, I really don't know what it did. What did I do wrong? Oh, you know what? It probably did work, but yep, it did. So I see what I did. Um, the collider. It probably cut it. Yep, I cut it through. Okay, all right, X-ray vision. I cut it through this piece, but not both. And so like this is a really good thing to remember. Like I created my building, I made my collider, I deployed it, but now I'm coming back. And you're going to do this all the time. You're always going to come back to a building or build. What I'm going to do is, so this one, I'm looking at the name. This is my collider. This is my cube. I'm going to actually just kill this collider. I do that pretty much every time I work on something. Even if I'm like going, I don't know, like little changes, maybe not, but I want that collider to match up perfectly, and I will just redo it. Like if I did a bunch of changes at the end, I would duplicate whatever I changed. I'd make a new collider and I'd deploy it. And that right there is why so many times if you, at least for me, if you come to my build and you're like, oh, you forgot a collider, and it's like, oh, this is why, because I do it at the end. And so, yeah, you just got to make sure you go back and do that. All right, so I'm going to go this one. So now that we're here at this point, see how this is actually easier to see that there's a collider. If I duplicate that, I'm going to move it over here because I want these windows to be bright also. This will be like really a good way to tell if it worked or not. So again, building, the one I want to keep, crescent wrench, already on it, generate, boolean, eyedropper, stencil piece, that, apply. And now when I take it away, it's there. Boo! See, that's like the fireworks I needed. Like it looks so good because it worked. Um, so go back to Decentraland. Yeah, so that hopefully that's hopefully that is helpful because that right there is such an important piece to everything that you're going to do. So just find um find like a project like this is a good one to add colliders to, or you could make a tree and just add over and over and over again, like make a tree that has a collider for a trunk. Um, I think the only way to really just do it is get in there and just start making stuff. But like reframe, I don't know, like for me, if you have to do something tedious and you have to do it over and over again, just reframe that narrative like, yes, this is going to make me the expert at cutting stuff out, or this is going to make, like, this is going to be a pain in the butt, but it's going to be, amazing in the end. And then let me know what you make because I want to see what you make. Hopefully I can add to this each week and like make, something else. There's a lot of land over here. I don't know if everybody saw it, but there was a lot of land scooped up. So if anybody is looking for land to buy, there might like a few people from the community bought them so that they can resell them to other people who want to build. So a lot of cool stuff to be built over there. Um, yeah, so if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Thank you so much for being here. Like it means so much that you show up, and if you have questions during the week, let me know cuz like it is going to start getting to the point where now where you're doing more complicated things in Blender. And like I said, that's, simple things like that stupid collider where your object disappears and it's like what the heck, and like that literally stopped me for months and it made me learn how to build a different way. And if I would have just looked it up, it was one click of a button. So sometimes there's a lot of those things where it's like one click of a button and you just don't even give it another thought. You move on. You're moving fast. But man, if you don't know which button to click, it's a big pain in the butt. There's that that happens in extruding too. That happens like in so many things. So just don't be afraid to like bug me, and then I'm gonna bug Rustan because like that's usually the person that helps me. Like if I'm like, Rustan, I'm ready to quit. This isn't working. And he'll be like, oh, did you hit this? But I don't know. ChatGPT makes it so much easier now too. So all right. Thank you so much. Make sure you grab your OP badge down below. I am going to get to work on the email that I'm sending out today to everybody that hopefully I can get it published today and then send it out to everybody that was at CBD this week. So, yeah, thanks for being here. And again, we'll see you in the new year and we'll build some more cool stuff together. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon.